Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives, where this week I've been daily driving this 2025 Mercedes-AMG CLE 53 Cabriolet. This is an entirely new model from Mercedes-Benz for the 2024 model year. So this is now the second model year of this new CLE. And if you're unfamiliar with what this replaces the C-Class Coupe, C-Class Cabriolet, E-Class Coupe, and E-Class Cabriolet. So the Coupe and Cabrio versions of this new CLE replace two models because Mercedes kind of figured that they didn't need both. And it makes sense because not as many people are buying this sort of car these days, which is sad because I really love this. I have really enjoyed daily driving this for the past 4 days. I've put about 100 miles on this, and I am excited to show you guys what this is like to live with tonight. We're going to commute this to downtown. And this is the best version they currently make of this, the AMG, the 53. Now, this is not a 63, this is not a V8, even though its wide haunches and crazy 20-inch wheels with 295 section tires in the back may make it look like a 63 car. This is a 53. So this is powered by the 3-liter M256 turbocharged inline-6 with a 48-volt mild hybrid system. Power output 443 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. Unless you're overboosting, then it'll do 443 pound-feet of torque. This has an auto overboost function, so when you're pushing this car to the limit, it'll give you a little bit of extra torque towards the top end. This has the 9-speed AMG Speed Shift automatic transmission. I love saying that. And then this is 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive, and it has rear axle steering standard on this CLE 53. This Cabrio version starts at about $83,000. Our car tonight, not too crazy of a spec, only $98,000. This is finished in MANUFAKTUR Moonlight white with a power red interior. I always think of, well, there's actually two Jeremys I think of when I say the word power. Jeremy Clarkson and Jeremy Fragrance. If you know, you know. But we have these really nice looking performance seats inside, which of course we'll get to once we show you the interior. This has the optional red top, which is why I've put this up. We are in for an absolute treat tonight. It's about 75 degrees. The sun is setting. Unfortunately, Canada is still on fire, so it's a little bit hazy, but we're working with what we've got, and this is just going to be a fantastic little commute to downtown in this beautiful CLE 53. Well, the A236, I believe, is the chassis code for this, and my, oh my, is this thing stunning. I know I was just talking about spec, and we'll put all that down in the description for you guys, but I just want to talk about the styling for a second. This is, I think, one of the most drop-dead gorgeous cars on the new car market right now. I think they absolutely nailed this design and kind of proportionately made this perfect mix between a C-Class and an E-Class, which is basically what this is, but the AMG-ified version of this CLE with the wide fenders is just gorgeous, and these wheels really, really do it for me. This is an optional 20-inch wheel. It's about a $2,000 option. We're running on a set of Michelin Pilot Sport S5, so this is actually, I think it's the newest sport tire that Michelin makes. On the front, a 265/35 ZR20, and on the back, a 295/30 ZR20. We also have the performance pack sort of thing on this car, which gets you red brake calipers, performance engine mounts, and a drift mode, which I hate to burst your guys' bubble, but we're not going to try the drift mode today because this is just a commute video. A lot of you are still thinking that I'm the one that's doing the donuts in this parking lot, but I actually just had to Google how to even put this into drift mode because basically I am James May, and we'll show you how to do that once we're inside. But I am just having a hard time even wanting to get in this because it is so beautiful. But let's poke around this before we get to driving, and then we'll show you what this is like to commute downtown. And we'll start in the trunk because that is usually what we do. You push on the Mercedes badge, and this is not a power trunk. It just shoots up with these little baby shocks on here because this is quite a small trunk, being that this is an convertible mod, or cabriolet as Mercedes calls it, where you can see a decent amount of trunk space. You've got this little guy here that holds the convertible top, and if you have the top up like I do right now, you can push this little button and that will maximize your room in this trunk, which honestly, I think this would maybe fit some golf clubs diagonally, which will matter for a car like this. Imagine lots of these are probably already parked outside of country clubs all over the US. A little bit of extra storage here under the floor. And I don't think we have a spare. I'd be surprised. Nope, there's things under there that I probably am not supposed to see. So we're going to put that piece of trim back and drop the trunk floor back down, and we're going to lower this guy back down too, because, you know, most of today's driver, honestly, we may even do the whole thing with the top down, because this is a pretty quiet and serene experience with the top down, as a car like this should be. I think, you know, the sort of people like this, not the kind of crowd that wants their hair to be blustering all in their face as they drive. Let's show you this M256 straight six, which, how cool is it that Mercedes-Benz has switched back to an inline-6? I know this is kind of old news at this point, but the older versions of this car, the C43, and I think they called it the E53, they had a V6. This is now, across the line, inline-6 if you go for a 6-cylinder in the CLE. Now, this is not a hand-built engine like you would find in a 4-liter bi-turbo V8 car. This is an AMG enhanced version of the same engine that comes in the trim level below this, the C450. But this makes a little bit more power. That car, I think, makes about 375 horsepower. This is up to 443. So AMG has breathed upon this. They've put their special engine cover on it, and obviously they've done some other things to this as well. But this is not the purebred AMG car that it really looks like. I mean, a lot of people don't love that they put AMG badges on a car that doesn't have a hand-built engine. I'm a little bit torn on this, because I like that I can have this car for $98,000. Of course, if this had a little bit of functional cooling there, a little hood scoop. If this had the V8 motor that we just had in that G63 that we were driving a couple of weeks ago, this would probably be a $150,000 convertible, and then you're getting into SL63 territory, and I don't know. I think it's coming. I think they are going to make a CLE 63, and I'm sure it'll be fantastic, but as of 2025, and as of this video being filmed, that car does not exist yet, so this is the top trim. We have a quad exhaust on this car. This has an optional AMG noise package, and I got really excited when I read that on the Monroney, because I thought that meant it had some kind of exhaust. But no, you pay extra for them to pipe the exhaust noise into the interior. You pay like $400 for a microphone that's in one of the mufflers, and then you get the noise inside, which is a little bit silly. Otherwise, as far as options go, I told you guys the spec. We have these advanced performance seats in here. And this spec is a little bit weird, because I went on the configurator this week and I could not get it to let me make the interior power red. So I don't know if they're having some kind of shortage right now with their red leather, but obviously it exists, because here it is on this car. Let's go ahead and put the top down and show you what this thing looks like as an convertible. Pretty easy to do all that, and the car is trying to hand me my seatbelt right now, but we're not going to drive quite yet. Let's just fire it up here. There you go. All right, now, pretty easy to lower the top in the CLE. It's just these couple little, or few little buttons here, I should say, to either lower or raise your little wind deflector in the back. But for right now, we're just going to lower the roof. This whole function happens in about 20 seconds, so it's a pretty quick process. Obviously not as fast as just flicking the top back on a Miata, but for kind of a luxury Grand Touring convertible, not bad. We have a warning for active brake assist functions being currently limited. Okay, it's not a Mercedes loan unless we get...
Unfortunately, active brake assist can't be operated using voice control.
That's probably a good thing. But it can't be operated using anything because it's not working. Okay, we can program this switch down here, these two bottom switches, to operate all the windows, which I have done. So we'll put all those down, and we'll show you what this looks like on the outside with the roof lowered. I know convertibles get a lot of hate, but I don't really think having the top down takes away from the beauty of this design. I don't know that I'd go for Moonlight white, especially since they charge extra for it. But I think the white on red does complement this pretty well. I'd maybe go for gray over red, silver over red. I don't know, I think it would be pretty hard to make this car look bad. Okay, before we jump up front, I do want to show you back seat room. pretty easy to get back there. You have this little leather wrapped and stitched little hook, or tab, what am I trying to say? Pull tab. What I love about convertibles is that you can just stand up and then you get into the back seat. So headroom is no problem. Sat here behind myself at 5'11". At 5'11", I do actually have plenty of room, and you can kind of rest your arm up here on this door panel, or you have these little baby elbow rests down here. 2 cup holders in the middle, obviously nothing that folds down here, but we do have some air vents and a little cubby right there to put whatever you would like. Drivetrain hump in the middle. This is a 4-seater. There's no seat in the middle, of course, but I think you could probably take 3 adults plus the driver in here without a problem. With the top down especially, with the top up it might be a little bit tight, but who wants to drive this with the top up anyway? And if you're spending $98,000 on this, you probably have a daily driver S-Class or E-Class sedan that you're going to be driving during the rainy days anyway. Okay, let's hop up front. We'll talk about these AMG Performance Seats Advance. They've got the little AMG crest here in the headrest. Love to see it. We have a Burmester sound system in this, which is fantastic. Charlie, thank you for that. Charlie from Daily Motor tested this, and I believe he gave it an S tier. Yep, see, this is another problem this car has been having. The key is here, and the car doesn't think so. Luckily, you can clear this by just telling it that the key is actually here. So I don't know if the key battery is low. This thing's only got 2,200 miles on it. I'd be surprised if that was the case. But I've been scared all week that I'm gonna like go somewhere and park, and then the key's not gonna work. Anyway, okay. Split folding armrest here in the middle. You can see our Monroney. Car comes out to $98,390. I think I told you guys about all the packages. Oh, except the driver assistance pack and the ventilated front seats. Otherwise, we covered it all. This is rated at 19 mpg city, 26 highway, 22 combined. This week I've been getting about 18, and I haven't been driving this very spiritedly. I've just been kind of cruising around with Emily and driving like James May. So not the most efficient thing in the world. We can check in here. Yeah, over the last 113 miles, haptic touch buttons, I've done 17.8 mpg, so that is that. This screen, kind of like the SL, moves up if the sun is glaring down on this, or just if you want it to be a little bit closer to you, it's easier to reach this way. So I like to have that adjustability. Otherwise, this is the newest version of the MBUX, so it's a little bit simplified, and you can tell this to do all sorts of things, program routines and such. But I've just been messing with all of the ambient lighting, obviously, because that is my favorite part of Mercedes-Benz interiors. They are the kings of ambient lighting, and hopefully the sun sets enough tonight to where we'll be able to show it to you. If not, we'll show you once we get to the parking structure. Default screen is just a real-world looking nav screen. You've got your climate down here at the bottom. You've got this screen to turn on and off things like your lane keep assist and steering assist, parking sensors, all of that stuff. I like that that is a button that you can access easily. Parking cameras, you can see all of the donuts that you guys think that I've done. And then we have our AMG screen as well that takes us to all of our different drive modes, which this has a lot of them. And actually, since we're not going to be doing drift mode while we're on the road, let me show you how to do that right now while we're in the parking lot. So the first step is to put the car into race mode. Then you turn traction control off completely until that turns red. Then you put the gearbox into manual. And with the car in drive, you then pull both paddles. Okay, confirm paddle up. So drift mode is now active. I'm a little tempted to do donuts, but I'm not going to. Let's put this back into comfort to start our drive. But at least now, if you wanted to know how to put your CLE 53 AMG into drift mode, that's how you do it. Little cubby here with some cup holders, USB-C ports, wireless charger. I really like the layout of this interior. I think everything works.
I can't find that out right now.
She's a bit annoying most of the time. Really nice flat bottom sport steering wheel, though I don't like that the airbag cover isn't wrapped in leather for my $98,000. Otherwise though, very nice adornments in here, beautiful center vents, leather wrapped top of the dash. Let's put these windows up, which are not auto up. You
I
have to
cannot
hold.
operate this function due to safety regulations in your
I
country.
don't know what? I don't know why she thinks that I'm cancel. Is there a button that I'm bumping, or the MERCEDES. You just can't say that in here, I guess. Let's go drive. Into reverse, pulls up our 360 camera and very high quality backup camera. And the first thing you notice when you start driving the CLE 53 is the quickness of this steering. This is not a very big car. It's just kind of mid-size, I guess you could say. But it has that rear axle steer, so a little bit of steering does quite a lot. This is one of the quickest steering racks I've experienced in quite a while. And you really have to be careful. You got to watch out for curbs and things like turning into parking lots. You got to make sure that you're not going to turn too quick and pop a curb. That would not be very fun. But that's not a complaint. I love the steering in this car. I think it's weighted beautifully. Mercedes usually does a good job with kind of that nice, luxurious, buttery feel with their steering, and this is no exception to that. Throttle inputs, nice and progressive. You don't have to overthink driving this car smoothly. It's very easy to do so. In comfort mode, and honestly, even in sport mode, this 3-liter Inline-6 is very quiet and reserved. Shifts from the 9-speed speed shift are not very harsh when you're just riding around in comfort mode. This car really is a great cruiser. You can use that 413 pound-feet of torque to your advantage. We're going to put up our dynamic little wind thing. I should have looked up what Mercedes actually calls that, but wind deflector, I guess. But it does actually mitigate the wind noise quite a bit and make this a very serene experience. That's 80 miles an hour very quickly. Lots of torque here. We also have an individual drive mode, of course. You guys know how I usually set these up. Powertrain and race, everything else in comfort, gearbox and manual. And this thing's pretty quick. It weighs about 4,500 pounds, so power to weight ratio is nothing like overly impressive, but they have to save a lot of that for one day when they maybe or maybe not make a CLE 63. Couple little burbles from the exhaust, but this is in loud mode right now, so we can toggle the exhaust. Yeah, this is in loud mode, so this is as loud as this car gets. It's also worth mentioning we have a high-performance brake pad on this with the dynamic package as well. It goes along with our special engine mounts in the drift mode. Let's do that corner one more time. This thing handles beautifully, very flat around the corners, and this is just in my individual mode. Let's put this into race, why not? Put our gearbox into manual. This will turn everything up to 11 for us, and I'll shut up so you guys can listen to this Inline-6. And that F-150 with an exhaust leak. Yeah, it gets going. It corners flat. That is wild. For a convertible too. This is another reason that people don't love convertibles, is because they sacrifice chassis rigidity, which sure, that is true, but in a car that I enjoy most as a cruiser anyway, handling like that is really just a bonus. I mean, that's fantastic. essentially no body roll. As I mentioned earlier, the rear axle steer really helps this thing dive in. The front end is pretty sharp for a 4,500 pound car like this. This also has what Mercedes calls race start. Ooh, race start canceled. There we go. Oh my goodness, and Mercedes.
Apple CarPlay is active.
Yes, thank you so much.
Function of the connected
Yes, I know.
mention it.
I know. They, MERCEDES, they make this very intense. The car tensions the seatbelt when you're kind of queuing up, when you're building boost for the race start. Just kind of adds that extra level of excitement to the launch control. Oh yeah. All right, so we've shown you what the CLE 53 can do when you want to push it to the limit, but what about when you just want to cruise, which is really the majority of what I've been doing this week and what I love so much about this car. Before we get onto the highway, I do want to be a little bit philosophical for a second because, like I said in the beginning, this is just a 53. This doesn't have a hand-built engine, but it does still wear the AMG badge, and this is kind of where I struggle with this a bit because this car is so nice as a cruiser. It hasn't really egged me on this week to drive fast. While it is very impressive and fast, I don't think it makes a particularly thrilling noise. It's not snappy. It's not like encouraging me to drive like a hoon. And that's okay. Personally, I like a car that I can cruise in, but for this to be marketed as an AMG, I don't know that this is all of what I want for this car. And I think a lot of it lies in just this exhaust being a little bit too quiet. And it's a shame because, like, the induction noise, that sounds good, but what comes out the back, it's very muted. Even when you push this button and put the exhaust into loud mode, I mean, that's it. That's all you get. So I think they could have done more with that. But otherwise, the Jekyll and Hyde nature of this car is nice for daily driving scenarios, as we are about to show you as we merge onto the highway here, hopefully at a speed faster than 40, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Don't know if we'll be able to show you cruise control with this brake warning. Maybe we should have stopped and done a key cycle, but whatever, it'll be fine. Getting this merged on here to I-94. Be able to show you what wind buffeting is like on the highway with the roof down. Always a valuable. If she thinks I'm talking to her again, I don't know why. She always thinks I'm talking to her. Sometimes she's fun though. Hey Mercedes, what do you think of BMW?
Good friends from Bavaria.
That was tame. Sometimes she can be a little passive-aggressive about BMW. All right, let's see if this cruise control will work. I fear maybe it won't. Yeah, see, it's not going to let me do any of this. Okay, maybe let's pull off and let's do a key cycle real quick and see if we can clear this warning light. Just because I want to be able to show you guys the cruise control. This does a really good job with it when it's working. I actually haven't seen this at all this week. This is new for today. But otherwise, I've had some issues with the windows. One point in the week, the rear two windows wouldn't roll down at all. And then this window wouldn't roll up. It would go up and then it would bounce and go halfway back down. So had some weird kind of electrical problems with this car this week that obviously you don't really ever want to see with any car, but especially not one that's $98,000. I would just do the key cycle right now, but in the off chance that the car doesn't restart for some reason, I don't want to be in the middle of an intersection. So we'll pull into a parking lot before we mess with that. Let's see if Mr. Alabama Tahoe can go on the green light.
We're changing to green now.
Okay, ambient lighting is now green. Right, we're gonna do our key cycle here at McDonald's, because then at least if the car doesn't restart, I can go in and eat, I guess. All right, here we go. Let's do a key cycle in park. There you go. Shut the car.
Just a minute.
Oh.
You've forgotten your phone.
She's so loud right now. All right. Ah? No more brake warning light. Sometimes with these cars, genuinely, all you have to do is turn them off and then... Ah! Just as I was talking all that shit. Okay, let me try one more thing. We'll actually get out and we'll lock it. So it can like actually reset
Just a minute.
for a second.
Don't forget your phone.
Unlock. Just do a kind of a complete reset there. See if maybe that fixed it. If not, we'll be fine. We'll still be able to do the drive. We just won't be able to show you guys the cruise control. Yeah, all right. Well, no cruise control for us today. Sorry guys, I tried. All right, settling into the highway, we will not be showing you cruise control because that's broken right now. But we'll talk about NVH. Not so bad. And also ergonomics in here. So let's start with elbow comfiness. Pretty decent. You've got a nice squish here on the center split folding armrest, as well as the door panel. Not quite as much squish over here, but it does the trick. Otherwise, ergonomics, like as far as placing your hands on the steering wheel, that's quite nice. Visibility out of this car. You do sit pretty low down, and I do like that about these advanced AMG sport seats. You don't sit quite as low down as an M4 or any M car in general, but it does a pretty dang good job, honestly, as far as like giving you a bit of a sporty feel. If you're gonna go for these seats, I feel like that's kind of what you want. But as far as comfort goes with these seats, they're okay. They're pretty hard, to be honest, and I think these are the same seats that Emily and I had in that GT that we took to Chicago. But the cool thing about these is you can actually go into the comfort menu. And, well, I don't like that you have to go into the infotainment, but you can adjust the lumbar here. And it looks like that. Well, I'll let you tell me what that looks like, but, you know, you can move this out a bit. It goes all the way to 10. I like mine to be right at 5. Nice and perky. So these do okay. I mean, you've got heated and ventilated, and you also have the air scarf. Aha! So if it's cold out, which it isn't right now, so we're going to turn it off, you get a refreshing bit of warm air on your neck, which is nice for, I don't know, cold fall nights. You got the top down, you want to stay warm.
I'm sorry, I can't set the temperature at the moment.
There must be some other prompt that's triggering her. I don't know what it is. Ooh, she is manic tonight. Okay. As far as ride quality goes, this has obviously a 4-corner adaptive suspension. AMG Active Ride Control, as they call it. And it does a wonderful job, guys. I mean, this is seriously top-tier ride quality for a car like this. Even with these Pilot Sport S5s, these 20-inch wheels, and the AMG badge on the back, the ride quality here is really, really nice. It's on the firmer side, but it's not crashy. Soaks up all the bumps beautifully. And it's really exactly what I want for a car like this. The only bit of harshness you ever get are through those tires. Here's the thing though, so this AMG, this starts at 82 grand. This one has spec is 98. The base car is 66,000. Now, granted, that comes with a 4-cylinder turbo, or you can go for the mid-level car with the same engine as this that just makes less power. That one's like 77. So you don't have to have the AMG, but I think just honestly, as livable as this car is and as cool as it looks with the wide haunches and things, I probably would still go for the AMG. These bumps are pretty harsh, and the suspension is soaking them up like nothing. Tried to pull a downshift there, and it did not want to do that. Not a great performance there under the bridges. I suppose that was to be expected. And again, I don't think this sounds bad. I just think it could use a little more volume when you're in that sport exhaust mode. Once you get into a downtown setting like this, just to kind of validate what we talked about in the walk around, it's really just the perfect size. It doesn't feel big in the lane. Lane changes nice and easy. Ride soaking up all of these expansion joints and manhole covers with no problem. With the 48-volt mild hybrid system, this does have auto stop start, easy to defeat with this physical button below the engine stop start button, or if you want to do it a different way, you can also set your steering wheel to have a quicker point, I suppose, to turn that off. But I've been leaving it on because with this 48-volt mild hybrid system, I mean, the engine just kind of rises to occasion. You don't even feel it turning on or off. And Inline-6s, especially this M256, just so silky smooth, and I just let this car do its thing, really, for the most part. But anyway, as we get into downtown here, why don't we give you guys a sound system test on this Burmester.
Told you to walk away. That was my first and last mistake. I blew without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back.
So as you can hear, there are quite a lot of power in that Burmester sound system. And yeah, I agree with Charlie.
Would you repeat that, please?
Cancel. I agree with Charlie. I would give this an S tier rating. I think it is really genuinely that good. Now, I always love to do these drives completely top down. But allegedly, you can put the top up in this car at speeds of up to 37 miles per hour. So we're going to try that out today. 33, 35, 36, 37. All right, holding it. 35. Yeah, top's going up. 36 miles an hour. Here it comes. There you go. Put that top. Oh, it canceled something because I got up to 38. There you go. That top is completely closed. Okay, let's go ahead and put it back down. It is foul to be driving your convertible on a night like this. What is it? 72 degrees and sunny. You will never catch me with my top up. Absolutely not. At this point, we're putting all the windows down too. Why not?
Unfortunately, I cannot operate this function due to safety regulations in your country.
Did not ask you to do that. I did it myself. But that's just about going to wrap it up here for this CLE 53, a car that I think had a very welcome spot in the Mercedes. Oh, crap. She doesn't come on when I actually say the word. It had a very welcome spot in this manufacturer's lineup. I mean, losing the C-Class Coupe and E-Class Coupe, I don't really think it's all that bad to combine them into one car. I mean, at least they give us something. I will say I miss the S-Class coupe and convertible. Those cars were discontinued a bit earlier, I think in 2021. But it's really just a treat to even have something like this in the 2025 market, and I hope people buy it. It's a lovely car. Feels very high quality. You know, nothing in here creaks when you push on it. Everything is wrapped in leather, and it's just a fantastic, really well-built car. I mean, it just feels very high quality. It doesn't have the stupid door handles that retract in, so the doors actually feel quite nice as well.
Unfortunately, I don't know that right now.
Look at this. Look at this turning circle. That is very impressive. These wide haunches pulled right up here.
Welcome. Please proceed into the lot.
Oh, that's right, because it went into monochrome. All right, this is my favorite, Ultramarine. I love this one, but other favorites include Miami Rose, that's a good one. Malibu Sunset, that's a really pretty one. Red Moon is a nice one as well. Alrighty guys, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Ooh, are we gonna get a little bit of redemption in here? Hold on a sec. Manual mode. First gear.
Unfortunately, I could not find any results.
To go ahead and wrap this up, I think as a CLE, as the model that replaced the C-Class and the E-Class coupe, this thing does a fantastic job. It's comfortable, it's drop-dead gorgeous, everything in the interior feels very, very well built. I would like to have a volume knob, that's one thing I will add. But this car still feels very much like quintessentially country club, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's what this car should be. Do I think this necessarily deserves the AMG name? That's a tough one. I'll let you guys discuss that in the comments. But with this being kind of an AMG light, Mercedes does this in a different way than BMW does. You know, BMW will put the M badge on, but then they'll follow it up with a bunch of numbers and letters that make it seem less sacrilegious. Mercedes just goes ahead and puts that AMG badge on there. So whether it's a CLE 53 or a CLE 63, it's still going to have that same AMG badge on it. I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing, but I think for what this car is, and I guess, I mean, you could argue the fact that this has a drift mode, it's got the rear axle steer, it's got the wide body, it's got the wheels, it has the AMG look. I'm just missing that soundtrack. I think that's the biggest thing for me, and it's why I struggle a little bit with this car. But in every other aspect, it's fantastic. It's really, really a nice offering from Mercedes-Benz, and I would really like to drive the CLE 300 and the 450, just because I'm sure those would be fantastic as well. But let's get this CLE 53 parked up. I'm sure on the way home I won't have that brake warning light anymore and the cruise control will work. Maybe not.
Excuse me, don't forget your phone.
Ugh. Oh, I left the rear windows up. I didn't mean to do that, but... Oh wait, I wonder if maybe they didn't roll down because they weren't working. Did I hit the two? I thought I hit the rear switches, so those should have gone down. Anyway, here's one last look at this beautiful CLE 53. Also curious to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments as well, but I have genuinely enjoyed my week in this CLE 53 Cabriolet. And I guess that's it. That'll wrap it up. I'm going to drive home in the sunset and keep on enjoying it for the rest of the week. The Topher is out in Wyoming, so I've got a little bit of an extended loan with this car. But anyway, thank you guys all so much for watching. Oh, it's so pretty. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.